Hey everybody, welcome back. Thanks for joining me for another royal news video. I hope you all had a wonderful weekend, and if you are new here, I will say hello. Please remember, if you like the content, to hit the subscribe button, and let's get this show on the road. Now, this video is purely to do with Harry and Meghan's holiday to Colombia, and I'm not going to break it down like a royal tour because this was not a royal tour. This was a holiday paid for by the Colombian taxpayers, and I think because there was a sprinkling, a smidgen, blink and you miss it, Invictus moment, I'd imagine that the Invictus Games are possibly also picking up some of the tab. Now, throughout this video, I will refer to it as a tour, but it is not a royal tour, it is not a fake royal tour, it is not a quasi-royal tour, and whatever else the media like to portray it as. This is purely just to do with Harry and Meghan making spectacles of themselves, mostly Meghan, exactly like they did when they went to Nigeria. Colombia has had the same treatment, where Meghan very much was the star of the show. Harry has yet again gone from being in his brother's shadow to being in basically everybody's shadow at the back. At one point, Harry looked like he was photoshopped in as an afterthought. Clearly, this started weighing down on him, as he looked like a pit bull chewing a wasp throughout the majority of the shots that weren't taken by their very own carefully selected photographer. This might be why Meghan made a point of showing that they are clearly still in love, and she even gave him a good old kiss for a beautiful moment that was naturally shared across social media by her fan base. But Brittany, who I love Brittany, she was the one that got this amazing photograph with the Princess of Wales. She runs the Royal News Network Twitter and YouTube account. And she made a very, very good reference to a Friends episode that involved Susan Sarandon and Joey. Joey gets a kiss on stage from Susan Sarandon, and she's explaining that when a woman kisses a man, she puts both hands on their face. Joey responds and says, "Is it because she's so passionate?" No, it's so the camera only sees her. It is a stage trick, and it is something that definitely sums up Harry and Meghan's relationship from the very, very beginning. On the few occasions that the attention was diverted away from Meghan and onto Harry, she made it very clear, almost crazily clear, that she did not enjoy the interactions at all. Whether it's possessiveness, jealousy, a little bit of crazy, or all of the above, a little of attention comes his way, and she is tugging on his arm like an attention-seeking toddler. She's doing exactly the same to Harry, and again, we have seen it before. It might look cute to some, but it's controlling and coercive behaviour to the rest of us. Now, Meghan clearly has a different set of rules for her, and the attention is always allowed on her, even when it comes from another woman's husband. Yes, this is the VP's husband. Now, I'm not implying that anything went on between these two, but it's clear there's a little bit of mutual attraction, isn't there, between the glances that they keep giving each other. And it just makes me laugh, because considering how possessive Meghan gets over Harry, where she will not even let another woman stand alongside her husband to have her photograph taken in a professional setting, but she's okay to latch on to other women's husbands. It seems that Meghan is hypocritical with every single aspect of her life. So, of course, one thing that is very clear throughout the entire tour is that Harry and Meghan were there to elevate themselves, or rather they were there to elevate Meghan. This should come at no shock to absolutely anybody. Nor should it come as a shock that Harry and Meghan modelled themselves a bit too closely at times on the Prince and Princess of Wales. How creepy is this when you look at the images side by side? It's definitely borderline obsessive with these two at this point, and it's hardly surprising that a news report has come out stating that Prince William will never let Harry and Meghan anywhere near his family ever again. Some people might call that a restraining order. So, as for the tour to Colombia, which the VP Marquez has passed off to the Colombian people at their expense, as this was a moment to show Harry and Meghan and the world, by using their star power, the incredible rich heritage, the diversity, the amazing cuisines, and the mixture of all the different cultures that makes Colombia such a diverse and interesting and fabulous place to go to. Did we see any of that? No, we did not. If anything, I would say Harry and Meghan, rather than shining a light, as Meghan likes to say, on Colombia and what a wonderful place that it is to visit and to holiday, if anything, they've made it on a worldwide platform look like it's more dangerous than Afghanistan. Bearing in mind that Harry and Meghan are ex-royals, they are civilians, they are not there as diplomats, they are not there on official status whatsoever. This was a holiday invited by the Vice President Marquez, and this was their motorcade. 8 armoured Toyota trucks, 50 escorts, 24-hour ambulance, 9 motorcycles, 15 police officers, and this was just for one journey. In total, it's been reported that they had over 3,000 police, they had snipers, helicopters, drones, and a bio-terror van following them every step of the way. Yet in most places, not many people even turned up outside of their own entourage and the army. It's not surprising to find out that this little holiday excursion for Harry and Meghan, the already rich multimillionaires, has cost the Colombian taxpayers over $2 million. And I'd imagine by the time that they've tallied everything up, it will probably be a lot higher. The amount of security that they had laid on was truly unbelievable. Presidential, absolutely presidential. The King and Queen themselves would have possibly had something like that when they went. But the difference is, if the president went, a lot of the US government, a large part of the cost would have been picked up by then. If the King and Queen, Camilla and Charles, had gone, or Catherine and William, then the UK government would have picked up a large part of that tab. And as we know, Harry and Meghan are not representing anybody other than themselves, which means all of the costs from their little holiday does literally lie at the feet of the Colombian taxpayers. And much like Nigeria, there are parts of the country where people are living in extreme poverty. It makes it look truly deplorable that multimillionaires could allow taxpayers' money in these countries where some people can barely keep their families alive every day to be spent on them having their next little holiday, a jolly, because that's all it was. Now, one big question for me, if they were in so much danger that they needed all of this security, the threat to life was so great, why did they visit a school? Not only that, they visited a couple of schools. Why did they take these children, a hand-selected number of children, out of the school where they would have been safe, out of the classrooms where they would have been safe, and have taken them outside for presumably Harry and Meghan to plant trees? Which is something that I also find bizarre, because unless Harry and Meghan have actually done something for the school, a massive donation, perhaps provided the school with some new equipment, helped build a library or something, it's a rather bizarre thing for them to have been doing. Again, this is them making themselves set up as fake royals. But my point is here, these are people's children. If Harry and Meghan felt that they were in so much danger that they had to have security, the army, the police outside the schools, they had drones flying over to protect Harry and Meghan. They've even got security holding up the Kevlar briefcases, the bulletproof protection for Harry and Meghan. Why on earth would they endanger those children and take them outside the security of the school? Now, this is something, it's not just Harry and Meghan, all of those adults that are responsible for doing this. I find this highly, highly questionable. When you think that Archie and Lily are surrounded by so much secrecy and mystery, and Harry and Meghan have said so many times part of the reason why they fled the UK for their lives and that of their child was because they couldn't handle the thought of when their children go to school, there'd be a press pack there. But you're okay doing this with other people's children. You're okay using other people's children in school environments and taking them out and posing for photographs with them, holding them, having her Diana moment with other people's children, knowing obviously there's such a high security threat to Harry and Meghan. They've got no problem carrying around a little girl in their arms. They don't want their children to be seen because safety on the internet. They don't want their children's images out there in the world, but they use other people's children to promote themselves, knowing that all of these photographs that they were selling themselves to the newspapers and the media outlets, these children's faces are then going to be shared all around the world. So it's okay for other people's children, but not your own. Now, aside from the hypocrisy, one thing I've always loved about children is they don't hide their true emotions. These children did not care. These children do not know who they were. In fact, reports have come out that they were actually expecting a famous Colombian footballer to arrive, and instead they got Harry and Meghan. I reckon everybody on this tour had severe buyer's remorse, including the VP. Now, as for real royal tours with the real royals, they raise awareness of the countries and the communities that they visit. The charities, the organisations, hospitals, schools. This is why royals do the visits that they do. It's about drawing much needed attention to other people, where Harry and Meghan only draw attention to themselves. What exactly do they do for the students other than pose for selfies? What is exactly that they did for the schools? A chance to talk about child online safety. Yes, that's mostly what they pitched anytime Meghan got a microphone in her hand. Well, with the exception, can you believe it or not, this is true, actually true. Meghan brought up, when I was 11 years old, I got a sexist soap dish commercial taken down. I can hear the collective groans and the eye rolls coming from all of you. Yes, Meghan is now taking this well-worn story around the world with her in hopes that she can find someone somewhere who has not yet heard it. Any normal adult would be embarrassed at this point that the only thing that you can ever brag about was a joint project that you did with your class when you were 11 years old. And it just further proves, aside from marrying Harry, it would seem that Meghan has done nothing noteworthy with her entire life. But as for Harry and Meghan going to Colombia, and especially some of the areas that they visited, talking about child online safety and social media, some of these people don't have the internet. The most concerns that they have is making sure they've got food on the table every single day and their families are fed. In the most part, local Colombians didn't even know that Harry and Meghan were visiting. They said that they went round like ghosts. The only time that locals knew something big was happening was because their villages and their towns got closed off by the military. Yes, traffic jams and whatnot as a massive convoy of cars came past. This is truly unbelievable. And at an event where they were expecting large crowds, well, no one turned up. Probably not helped by the fact they turned up over an hour late to this particular engagement. Yes, everybody at this drumming school had been waiting for them for over an hour. It's like they go out of their way to be rude to their hosts. So controlled were Harry and Meghan's excursions throughout this trip that they only allowed one reporter from Harper's Bazaar, which is a gossipy fashion magazine. They were allowed to do a tightly controlled press release every single day, no doubt approved by Harry and Meghan. Yes, Kim Jong-un would be very, very proud of this level that they put out to the world. But this is the thing, when they did release footage, they deliberately put the sound off. These two made sure that you couldn't hear conversations, probably because it was people going, who the hell are they? People would work out that Meghan didn't say any Spanish apart from her well-rehearsed speech that she did, and sí, señor, because I think that was possibly the level of conversational Spanish that Meghan probably did throughout. They couldn't have those moments captured. But one moment at the beginning of the tour was, however, captured, and that was Meghan turns around and says to Harry, like a child, like a mother to a kid, hand, to make sure that as they walk in for their first photo op, Harry takes her hand, and they heard Harry say, here you go. Their mother and son relationship, it's not husband and wife, it is creepy, but it also shows that it is completely set up. I am telling you, my gut feeling is it's over between these two. I think it's been over for a long time. I don't even think that they live together, in all honesty. I think they come together literally just to show face or for their so-called brands. Another show of how Harry and Meghan are carefully orchestrating this holiday is they got their entourage to crowd around them, the security and the entourage. You can see in this clip, look at the photographer bend down, so he's right in front of Harry and Meghan. That's so when they release the images, it looks like that they've got hundreds of people around them. They haven't, it's their own entourage and security. Quick everybody, gather round. Right, that's it, got the shot. Oh look, Harry and Meghan look popular. It's ridiculous, and it's certainly in contrast to Catherine and William, who do in fact draw in incredible crowds. Everything about this holiday was a dog and pony show. It was all set up. Everything is contrived, from Meghan and Harry having a couple of shots with him tenderly kissing her on the head, for Meghan and Harry to have their little dance together. And as I said in the beginning, Brittany made a great point with her cup in his face. It is all about Meghan being the star of the show. And if there was a moment of Harry even having a little bit of the limelight, Meghan soon interjected herself and made sure that that was shut down quickly. This whole trip was Harry and Meghan using another country for freebies, to be able to set up lots of photo opportunities for them to be able to use to promote Archewell at a later date. It was a promotional tour for mostly Meghan, and Meghan made sure that she bought the outfits to match. I honestly lost count of the amount of wardrobe changes that she did. Now, I will say, which is surprising, she was more covered up in Colombia than what she was in the conservative country of Nigeria. But that's not to say she was covered up all of the time. She was, in fact, wearing a different colour of this dress, and she also made a point of flashing the thigh. This is literally a performance with children all around them. But then Harry and Meghan were both behaving strangely then. Perhaps she was trying to make sure her husband's attentions stayed on her and not actually the director of arts that was sitting next to Harry. Now, one outfit which I will pick apart because I found it funny. I don't know why Meghan is so obsessed with wearing shirts, okay? She likes wearing shirts with skirts. It's a combination that I don't think I've seen look right on her at all. She never quite gets it right. It's the same as wearing a cream top and a white skirt. Otherwise, she looked lovely. But this outfit, honestly, she had sweat stains on her, sweat stains. She was sweating in places that I didn't even know a woman could sweat. She looked like she spilt a drink on her lap. You'd think she would have learned her lesson from when she came out of Canada House wearing a very similar outfit and she had those pit stains. So I think that this outfit possibly will not be seen again. But then saying that, none of Meghan's outfits are actually ever seen again. Now, whilst as I said, Meghan did look lovely in some of her outfits, overall, wearing that much jewellery, wearing that much money on yourself, and obviously all of the designer clothes and everything to the tune of over, a couple of 100,000 every single day, it to me just seemed really crass. But then this couple have gone to a country where some people are genuinely struggling to be able to keep food on the table every single week. It was incredibly vulgar, but in part it's not just Harry and Meghan. We know that they're greedy grifters. They will take anything offered to them without a second thought. But in all fairness, whilst Harry and Meghan, it's not out of character for them to be doing this, Vice President Francia Marquez, this is on her, and you can see why this is going to backfire. Considering Colombians are already upset with the way their country's being run, this is definitely not going to do her any favours whatsoever, especially when she admits that she invited Harry and Meghan not because of the wonderful humanitarians that they are, the groundbreaking research that they've done, the wonderful charitable efforts of Archewell, because we know, well, all of those things didn't and will not happen. No, she invited them, as she admits in a speech, because she watched Meghan on Netflix and decided that she should come to Colombia to tell her story. Presumably she didn't mean when Meghan was 11 years old and she got a soap dish commercial removed from TV, which, as we know, she didn't. No, for her to honestly admit going, I was sitting there watching Netflix one night and then I decided, I'd really like to meet her, so I'm going to use your taxpayers' cash to invite them over for a presidential style, all-inclusive holiday. It's unbelievable, and I think this is really, really going to bite her in the arse. What sort of vice president sits there, watches Netflix and go, do you know what? I'd really like to meet that person. Let's get the helicopter and the private jet sorted. Let's spend millions of pounds on security. What next? She's going to invite the cast from Gossip Girl or The Vampire Diaries over? I mean, I wouldn't blame her for some of the ones on The Vampire Diaries. But seriously, those shows are just as factual and truthful as the majority of stuff that happened on Harry and Meghan's Netflix show. This is definitely going to backfire on her. Ask not what your country can do for you, but what your country can do for Harry and Meghan. That seems to be the mantra that they should have stamped all over their Archewell and Sussex.com website. The fact that these two can go to countries that have huge civil unrest, where people are struggling to even put food on the table, and they allow a disgusting amount of that country's taxes to pay for them, it makes them look like truly awful, selfish human beings that wouldn't know a humanitarian if Bono slapped them round the face. Well, most people can laugh at them. Most people can see them for the ridiculous couple that they are. But when it comes to countries spending taxpayers' money on them, that's where people do struggle to, in fact, keep laughing at them. Harry and Meghan are private citizens. They do not represent any country, any government. They are not diplomats. They are not working royals. They are also multimillionaires. Harry had millions when he left the royal family, and both Harry and Meghan have continued to earn millions from selling the royal family down the river. No country and no taxpayer in any country around the world should be responsible for so much as picking up a bar bill tab for these two. Harry and Meghan's only goal when they went to Colombia was to promote themselves. Well, as I said, not themselves, it was just about promoting Meghan Markle. Well, they didn't even scrape the surface of what Colombia is as a country. Sure, it's got its dangerous parts, so does the UK. You know, it's ridiculous what Harry and Meghan have done. And Colombia, honestly, it's rich with so much architecture, with history, with food, with so much amazing music and just the cultures. It is a splash of colour. It is a place that my husband and I have long wanted to visit. And to be honest with you, I think that my husband and I could probably do a better tourism video for Colombia than what these two did, that's for sure. So if any of you guys, if anyone is watching from Colombia and you've got a cousin that works for the tourism board, you know, just saying, nudge, nudge, wink, wink, we can make ourselves available. And the best thing is, my husband and I won't cost the taxpayers a single penny. So guys, that's it for me on this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope that it stays up long enough for you guys to watch it. Anyway, I promise you I will be back very soon. We'll be talking about the royals. There's a cute story that came out with Catherine and William. We've got some nice footage of the king. So I will see you very soon. Take care for now. Bye.